This is authentic Thai food. This is authentic Malaysian food. But what does authenticity actually truly mean?
When we think of the term authentic, you really have to ask yourself, who's it authentic to?
You know, if our parents cook the same dish, it's going to be different because your love and your energy is going to go into that food. And, you know, so like my restaurant, if you're in a crappy mood, you don't get to touch the food. You don't get to cook them. You know, you don't
because
get
it would be authentically
Yes.
crappy.
Yes.
Being disconnected from the land and our foodways and where our food comes from can impact us in very serious ways. And so I'm seeing that play out today across the globe.
When someone asks whether a dish is authentic or not, whether they're really asking who gets to belong, because if you're saying something is not authentic, then the person who created that does not belong there. What counts as authentic? Whose version actually matters? This is a special one, a live recording captured at the 2026 Kalamazoo Foodways Symposium, an annual celebration of food, culture and community organized by Kalamazoo Valley Community College in partnership with the Kalamazoo Valley Museum in Michigan. Now, in its 9th year, the Foodways Symposium brings together chefs, storytellers and community members to explore the deep roots of food traditions from around the world. This year's focus, Southeast Asia. Joining me on stage are two incredible guests, Peecoon Allen, a Thai-born entrepreneur and founder of Umami Ramen in Battle Creek, Michigan, and Shane Bernardo, a Detroit-based food justice organizer and co-founder of Food as Healing. Together, we dig into one of the most loaded words in food culture, authenticity. Who defines it, who it excludes, and why the story behind a dish will always matter more than whether it follows the rules. Let's dig in. When I travel the world talking to people about their stories, I realized that we all share a very similar thread, right? Whether we're immigrants, and I believe truly in my heart, everyone is an immigrant in one way or another. We share one common thread that is food. No matter who you are, I see you eating right now, it's food. We've always got to eat food, but food connects us in a way that is so magical, something that I call a framework called taste. So taste is my framework of why food is really important, because it carries tradition. It shows us that food requires adaptation. It deserves storytelling. It brings togetherness. And it reminds us to always eat with meaning. And when these wonderful people from KVCC approached me and said, hey, we have a Southeast Asian food symposium. We want you to be a keynote speaker. I was absolutely delighted. But I was like, hey, what is this small town boy from Malaysia? How am I going to represent the whole region? Because Southeast Asia is not one country, it is a lot of countries. I have two wonderful people today to join me on this adventure of ours to discuss a little bit about Southeast Asian cuisine through the lens of a word that I think is very, very dangerous: authenticity. But before that, let me introduce our first guest, who is the founder of Umami Ramen and a Thai entrepreneur with something that began at a farmer's market and now is a space truly to share flavors across borders, across cultures. Give it up for Chef Peeconn Allen! How are you, Chef?
Hi, thank you.
How are you? Are you good?
I'm good, thank you.
Okay, so
I'm happy to be here.
Thank you for coming all the way from Thailand, no?
No. 30 minutes, Battle Creek.
Okay, Battle Creek. 30 minutes, thank you. I came 24 hours. No. But yeah, the next guest I have, I think if you think I'm fashionable, clap your hands. I am actually wearing something that comes from Malaysia. It's by a fashion designer in Malaysia. You can Google her, Melinda Lui, a dear friend who represents what we are in Malaysia. We are a melting pot of Malay, Chinese, and Indian cultures. So this shape is very Chinese. Am I right, Dr. Ying? And this pattern here is very Malay, right? So it represents the melting pot of Malaysia and all these little crafts, and the denim represents modernity. Sorry, English no good. If you don't understand, just raise your hands. I'll repeat myself, okay? The next person, why I'm talking about being fashionable is I thought I was fashionable. This guy comes in with like orange glasses. So please help me in welcoming the co-founder of Food as Healing, a Detroit-based food justice organizer, facilitator, and healing practitioner, Mr. Shane Bernardo. All right. Okay. How are you, Shane?
I'm doing great.
Oh my God.
You look great. You look
Thank
great.
you. I was saying to the organizers, because before every show, I will come up with like a rough rundown, kind of like, you know, a rough guideline of what we're going to discuss. And at the Hungry Immigrant, I travel around the world. I've been to I think I've been to 4 continents, talking to different people from chefs to food historians to celebrities, singers, and all. Nobody reads the rundown. They just appear, they just show up, and they go like, okay, what are we talking about? This guy has a whole notebook.
I got notes. I have notes. I took notes.
And Peecoon was like, by the way, you did not do your homework. I am Thai, but I don't run a Thai restaurant, right? She runs this really, really beautiful thing called Umami Ramen. Maybe you want to talk a little bit about Umami Ramen and how is your work important to you?
Umami Ramen started very organically. I was retiring from the corporate, and I had just moved from California, which had a lot of, the food landscape was amazing. But when I moved to Battle Creek, it was very limited in food options, taco and pizza. And then I was like, wow, it's really missing something. So I decided to do what I know is cook. And my husband was like, no, baby, don't get yourself involved with cooking. It's a lot of work. So I said, okay, I'll test it out at the farmer's market. And what I did was I offered what was in season and what was at the market for that market day. And that's how it became Umami Ramen, just cooking what's available from the farmer, promoting the farmer's market, because Battle Creek at the time, the market was pretty small. And, but we had international people that worked there, because it's the home of Kellogg. I don't know if you know, Kellogg headquarters is in Battle Creek. So we had a lot of international people that would understand the food that I would prepare for them. So that's how Umami Ramen got started 12 years ago.
Wow.
So farmer's market to a 1,000 square feet restaurant, and then I moved to a 3,000 feet restaurant. And recently, thank you. But now we turned at my space. Now I'm pretty much semi-retired. My husband's been retired for 5 years, and I want to join him in the travel and family and things. So now we are incubating another business, and that's my passion, is incubate the next chef, the next restaurateur. So now we just got someone
for
moved
the next
in.
generation, right?
For the next dream.
Okay, amazing, amazing. A round of applause for Umami
thank
Ramen. And so instead of talking more about his work, which is very, very deep, food as healing, right? Tell us a little bit about why is your work so important right now in the world? See how deep he is? It goes into...
I have to center myself. Sometimes I can come off way too serious, but these are serious times that we're living in. There's, in particular, global issues that we're contending with that hit home for us when we consider the role that the U.S. is playing in the displacement of other people. We sometimes need something to ground us. And food sometimes can act as a proxy relationship to land. And so that's actually how I got politicized myself. Right. During the housing and foreclosure crisis, I saw how important my family's foodways was to my dad's own personal health. In one lifetime, I saw him develop chronic health disease. And I was able to trace that back because of the scale of displacement that was going on at that time, how our proximity to the land shows up and manifests in terms of our overall health. And so being disconnected from the land and our foodways and where our food comes from can impact us in very serious ways. And so I'm seeing that play out today across the globe. And so food is really essential in terms of not just reclaiming our culture, but healing ourselves.
Right.
And especially for those of us that identify ourselves as diasporic people, we know how important this connection is.
Right. And I like that notion of grounding ourselves, and something that really truly grounds us. And I think that is so true because you know why? Where does food come from? The ground. And to ground our evening tonight, I would like all of us to do an exercise. I want everyone to close your eyes. I will not steal your handphones or your wallets. I promise. I want everyone to close your eyes right now with me. And now I want you to imagine a dish that brings you back to your childhood. That one dish that would always make you feel really fuzzy inside, really warm. Whatever that may be, feel that feeling, not just that dish. I don't need to know what that dish is. But what was that feeling at that moment when you had that? Who was it that was around you? What time of day is it? And now you will open your eyes and give me all your money. But yes, I want you all to hold on to that feeling as we go through this conversation today, because we're going to talk about something very, very important, which is the word authenticity. Because when we talk about Southeast Asian cuisine, or cuisine that is foreign to a certain nation, the word authentic always comes in, right? This is authentic Thai food. This is authentic Malaysian food. This is authentic. But what does authenticity actually truly mean? And sometimes I question myself whether when someone asks whether a dish is authentic or not, whether they're really asking who gets to belong. Because if you're saying something is not authentic, then the person who created that does not belong there, right? What counts as authentic? And truly, that word can also be a very sharp sword to say whose version actually matters. So with that, I want to ask Shane, first and foremost, from your work in food justice and community healing, right? What do you think the word authentic reveals about power? Who tends to define it? And who is most affected by those definitions?
Yeah, absolutely. The word authentic brings up a lot of feelings for me. In regards to the story that I just shared about my father and how him being disconnected from our ancestral lands, but also the foods and the stories that are born from there. And when we think of the term authentic, you really have to ask yourself, well, who's it authentic to? And so none of us live in a world where, we don't live in a world where in a vacuum where power does not exist. And so we have to take that into account when we're thinking about the word authentic. Authentic can sometimes assume these static notions where culture does not, it's very static, so to speak. And so culture is actually a really living thing. And if you look over the course of time and seeing how cuisines have evolved and adapted, you really have to take into account, well, from whose perspective is this dish or this food authentic to? And so to give you an example, during Spanish colonial rule, but also U.S. colonial rule of the Philippines, yes, the Philippines was a a colonial possession of the U.S. for 46 years.
And of course, for people who don't know, you do have Filipino roots.
Yes.
Yep.
Yep.
Okay.
And the first people that were able to emigrate abroad were Filipino sailors. Because before the Spanish showed up, we were traversing seas and open waters long before any of them showed up. And so they brought us on their ships, their galleon ships that traversed over the Pacific for over 250 years. And within that process, the folks that were closest to these colonial centers and ports were the cuisines that were represented in our settlements abroad. And so before the Spanish showed up, the Philippines is an archipelago of over 7,100 different islands. There were many different kingdoms. We weren't one unified country. And so it doesn't even begin to speak to the nuances and regionality of our cuisine in the Philippines. And so there's three major cuisines within the Philippines, but
Thank you. Thank you.
because of how history had played itself out, it often gets homogenized into the northern cuisines that were first brought abroad and established.
And for Peecoon, right? Being Thai, I know you don't run a Thai restaurant, but you do run this establishment where the name itself, Umami Ramen, right?
Yes.
Okay, umami is everyone knows umami, but ramen is like a connotation that is Japanese,
Yes.
right? And in fact, the Japanese ramen originated from somewhere else too.
Right.
Right, people will argue that, right? And then here comes a Thai lady who is trying to do ramen. Have you ever had that thrown in your face? Like, is that authentic? How do you feel about this?
How do I feel about that? So here's my take on authentic. If you're an authentic person and you're cooking from the heart, you're cooking from your history. So my recipe book is my mom. She's like a walking recipe, my aunt. So I'm taught to, not a prestigious school, but the school of parents, grandmothers, and aunties. So,
and I think it's your mom. You mentioned that it's a very strong influence.
Yes, yes.
And I think we have a picture of your mom. If you can just put it up.
There she is. Thank you. She looks just like me.
I was like, wait a minute.
Yes.
Auntie, you look alike.
Yes. So my mom is my #1 fan, and she's amazing. She cooks with her heart. That's how she shows love. That's how most culture in our culture show love, is through food. Maybe because some of us don't know how to say love, especially in that generation, coming from an Asian country that affection is really not expressed. So they express it through love, through food. So I didn't have any issues with people saying I was not authentic. I never try to be authentic, and I don't use that word authentic because food is always evolving, and as humans, we should evolve with the food. I came here in 1975. My mom came here in 1973. There was no papaya at that time. And so she substituted. She evolved. So somtam, papaya salad, was made with carrots. But the salty, sour funk was still there. It's just no papaya, substitute for carrots, with carrots instead. So that's how food evolves. So I don't use the word authentic because if we're all Thai here, or if our parents cook the same dish, it's going to be different.
Absolutely.
We could follow the same recipe. It's still going to be different because your love and your energy is going to go into that food. And so like my restaurant, if you're in a crappy mood, you don't get to touch the food. You don't get to cook them. You don't
because
get
it would be authentically crappy.
Yes, you don't get to touch because I don't want energy to your juju energy going
Yeah,
into the
absolutely.
customer's food, you know.
Absolutely.
So,
And I don't know, when you talk about that juju, right? I don't know whether it's juju or not, but like in our nation, I think because we also have Chinese roots, there is something that we produce which is rice wine, right? We're out of glutinous rice. And it is said that when a lady is not, usually the lady of the house who is preparing that rice wine, if you are not in the right mood or you're in a different biological phase, if you produce it at that time, it may actually change the color of the rice wine. It may actually disturb it. And so I do believe in that in a certain manner or not, but like truly, if it sounds like hocus pocus, basically, whenever you feel bad, when you cook food, it turns out bad most of the time. That's not hocus pocus, right? You all know that, it's true, right? But I think for me, in terms of authenticity, is like all of what we've said here is that authenticity assumes that everything is static, everything is in a vacuum. But for me, I think whenever I put this out there and ask people about it, even on social media, someone said something to me which is like mic drop. They said, isn't there something better for us to argue about? And I said, that is very true, because I would rather have carrot somtam than not have somtam at all. Because it is the story behind the somtam that is more important. And the fact that you are telling your story now, how it is substituted, it shows us how that somtam came to be. And behind every single food that you had, even Cheerios, there is a story behind it. And I think these stories of how food came to be and why we started eating it is more important. And we should be arguing about that and not just the word authenticity. To me.
Absolutely.
My 2 cents, right? And authenticity can be if you specify that it is done by a certain person at a certain time with a certain environment. That never changes, right? Of course not. It changes all the time. You change all the time. So food changes all the time. And in fact, to me, honestly, I believe that adaptation is the way the meaning of our food survives.
absolutely.
So what is the one food for you that has survived that means the world to you?
Somtam. Somtam and sticky rice. It's got to be spicy. It's got to be funky, and it has to come with chicken wings and
Chicken wings. Tell us about this chicken wings.
Chicken wings. It's got to be grilled chicken wings or fried chicken wings. Don't matter. My husband, right there.
Hi, husband.
We were in Thailand in November. Every day he ate somtam and sticky rice, and he couldn't have enough of it. And he eats it spicy, more spicy than my brother. Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's the dish that brings me to Thailand. So authenticity doesn't even fit in Thailand either, because I'm Isan, Thai, so I'm more like the northern, eastern Lao region, and there's somtam that is Bangkok, which is, more sweet, like extra sweet, sour, and with peanut. My region of somtam is more funky, salty, sour, and it's just like a lot of oomph.
Sometimes there are no better way to describe food than sounds. We all know those sounds, right? Even that, I do a dance, but the dance changes all the time. But for Shane, what was growing up like for you? What were the smells? What was the flavors like?
I think I had an unfair advantage because my family had a grocery store.
Yeah.
So we had access to things from all across the world. Mm-hmm. But to answer your question, the dish that really pulls on my heartstrings and I hold near and dear is my Lola's lugaw. And some lugaw fans out there, all right. For the uninitiated, lugaw is a rice porridge. It's a savory rice porridge that you eat for breakfast. And it's often made with, it's considered a peasant dish, forgive the term, but it's a very humble dish made often with leftover ingredients, leftover rice, and it's seasoned with ginger, scallions, garlic. I add fish sauce to it, and bits of chicken on the bone. And the first time I had this was when I was sick from school. I was as an elementary school student, and I lived in a multi-generational home. So while both of my parents worked, my Lola, my grandmother, my mom's mom, made me this dish.
Right.
I was so much better after. I did not let her know that.
So that you could make more?
But it was so good. I felt so loved and cared for and nourished, and I could taste the love in the food.
Yeah.
And so that's the way that I like to prepare my food for others when I'm
There is one notion that I think is worth explaining, because we are in front of a live audience. We are actually recording this. Did you know that? I didn't tell you that? You are all on The Hungry Immigrant, the podcast. You'll be part of it. This is a live recording. Woo! And so, like, we have listeners from listeners from all around the world. So we need to clarify this. And sometimes people don't get it. I think we mentioned this notion of how we Asians don't really show our emotions. I think it's not just Asians. There are a lot of cultures around the world where we just don't say, we should, but sometimes we don't say I love you. Or sometimes we fight, and I'm telling you.
Or we don't say I'm sorry, but we give you a piece of fruit.
Exactly. It's like, okay, okay, eat. And if you don't eat because you're angry still, they'll still go like, eat. And they'll make it like more aggressive, eat, until you eat. But that's what I mean by the meaning behind food, right? There's so many connotations behind food and how we use food to transmit different emotions, different messages, right? And for me, one of the foods that I always remember brings us to the next segment of the show. It is something that will always burn your mouth, but it will always keep you coming back. I remember when I was a little boy, we used to spend like 50 cents, 50 Malaysian cents, which is like not even 10 cents in the US. And it's coconut rice wrapped in a triangle banana leaf. And it has this little relish condiment that is spicy called sambal. And every time I have that, I remember as a child waiting for the end of the day, because it's coconut rice, they can't keep it overnight. So they will give it away for free. I came from a family that, God bless me, my parents provided well for me, but I was just a chubby little kid who wanted more food for free. Like we all do. I know you do. So I would always wait at the end of the day, grab those little packets and eat them, and they would be a little bit sour because it's coconut milk. At the end of the day, coconut milk rice, right? But it tasted so good, and I did get tummy aches, but I still went back for it. I don't know why. It just made me feel like, I got a good deal. And that has translated
so
to be like and anyone and everyone here who does grocery shopping, who does the grocery shopping at home? Raise your hands. When you get a good deal.
Yes.
You're like, yes. So when I get a good deal now, I'm like, no, it's not my fault. Whenever I'm like, always cutting that coupon, I'm like, no, it's not my fault. It's like the way I was brought up. This is the way I was brought up.
I went thrifting in town before I showed up tonight.
With that being said, I want to bring us to the next segment of the show, which is called the Sambal Survey. So the Sambal Survey is where I travel around the world with 2 or 3 different sambals. One is made by me, one is made by one of the top nasi lemak chain. So the national dish of Malaysia is nasi lemak that comes with this sambal. And they are the top nasi lemak chain in the whole of Malaysia. I just want to see whether my sambal actually measures up. So, in the spirit of that, you have water, right? She's like, everyone, get water. So, no, this one's not so spicy. No, I don't know. You're Thai, right? Filipinos, no, not so spicy. It depends. So Philippines is so diverse. I think Bicol in the north is more spicy, right? Was it?
Yeah, actually, the southern part, one of our oldest artifacts has Sanskrit written on it. Okay. So we have a lot of more spices, hotter spices in the south, than we do in the north.
Okay, so basically all I need you to do is, I'll bring it to y'all, just taste each of the sambal, tell me what you're tasting, and at the end of it, we'll take a vote. Which one is your favorite?
Okay. You're not going to tell us which one's yours first?
Of course not. We will only reveal it on the podcast, so you've got to catch the video version on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, and also YouTube, okay? So let's go. I'm going to serve you all now.
Wow, what a
We
treat.
feel special.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Okay, so you have got spoons there.
Oops.
Maybe don't take so much.
Yeah.
This one is like, you know, I used to be a master chef, just in case you didn't know. Like, I was always eliminated, by the way. He's looking at me like the judges.
Oh, I like your style.
Okay, so which one is, okay, so we are tasting, okay. There's two of this. So the one on my right, we'll say sambal number 1, and this is sambal number 2. What do you taste? Generally, just tell us what you taste in the sambal, so that for people who have never tasted sambal before in their lives, what does it taste like?
This one, I taste more shallots and a little sweeter. This one's definitely spicier, but this is more rounded. So this is more rounded.
Okay.
So I like this one.
Okay.
Yeah, I would say the one on the right has more developed flavors. The one on the left kind of is one note.
Yeah.
It's like hot, not a lot of
Super
depth.
spicy, yeah.
Okay, so like to find out whether my sambal was the best, tune into YouTube, Spotify, and also Apple Podcasts. But yeah, no, so actually, have you had sambal before? Okay, so the way she describes sambal is exactly how sambal should be. It should be rounded, right? It should sting you, but it keeps you coming back for more because it's sweet, it's salty, it's umami, it is everything. And when you pair it with the rice, it's like, so for those people who didn't know, I was brought to Kalamazoo to do this panel. I ended up doing cooking classes yesterday. I went into the kitchen to produce some food for y'all tomorrow, and for the cooking demo on Saturday. So I'm doing a lot of things, and I think the mayor of Kalamazoo will come and see me soon. Do you have a mayor? Okay, yes, Mr. Mayor, please come and see me. Maybe I'll move to Kalamazoo. But yeah,
It's a great city.
so we had a group of students for the first time cooking Malaysian food, right? And they were like cooking the sambal, and they were like, oh my God, this is so spicy. And then when we had it with the rice, right, at the end of the class we were tasting, I was like, you know, I've got to be a teacher, right? I always make people laugh, but I've got to teach something. So I was like, what are you tasting? What are the flavor profiles? You know, and they're like, chef, it's really spicy. It's really spicy. It's killing me. But they keep on going back and going back and going back. And the reason for that is because if it's rounded and it's complemented well, that's what you end up doing. And I hope you all come tomorrow because, was it tomorrow? Yeah, it's tomorrow, where you'll be able to sample all the food that we've made for you. Of course, I didn't make it alone. We have the wonderful chefs from KBCC who have helped me as well. And the students also helped prep, so a round of applause for them. And now we're going to go on to migration and also passing on tradition. Do you think it's very important for us to pass on our traditions and our foods to our young people? Do you think it's happening? And what do you think is the problem right now?
I think there's really no problem, other than, you know, because right now, as you see on TikTok, YouTube, and everything, and all your interviews, food is evolving fast, and there's so many people that are integrating different ingredients from different countries, from different region, into one dish. So, you know, I just saw, what's it, Philadelphia egg roll. And I hate to say this, but I'm also famous for Thanksgiving egg roll. So it's not tradition, so I took tradition and put in an egg roll. So foods are evolving, and the kids, young people nowadays, have such an opportunity to express themselves. And it's very artistry in cooking. So I think the next generation, as long as they have self-respect for themselves and the country they come from, their ancestors, their family, as long as that's honored, I think the tradition will carry on. It's just evolving, that's it.
Yeah, no, I have to challenge that in a certain sense because, as you know, I'm a food researcher as well. And I've traveled the world talking to young people about their foodways. And the reason why I started Hungry Immigrant is because as I talk to the younger people of certain nations, I wouldn't just say America, but certain nations, we are losing sight, the younger people are losing sight of what it is, the food that made us who we are. Let's put it that way. So I'll give you a very good example. Instead of putting it on other nations, I'll use my nation as an example, which I did a lot of my study on. In our nation, sometimes we eat on the floor. Well, we have plates, but you know, we sit on the floor. What I mean is I sit on the floor. People are like, oh my God, you eating from the floor? No, we sit on the floor. But in our tradition, when you sit on the floor, whether you cross your legs in front, I'll show you guys. So when you eat on the floor, whether you sit this way, and you never slouch, because your elders will be like, stop slouching. Whether you sit this way, or whether you sit this way, it has a meaning. It has gender roles. It's gender specific in my nation. So when I ask the young people whether you eat this way or this way, they're like, oh, and I ask them, what's the difference? They're like, I don't know. Is there a difference? And that made me really sad because that defined our tradition. And I was like, huh, so are we losing sight of who we are? This is so weird. Are we losing sight of who we are?
Yes, the food, I don't think so. That's a different, that's a different type of tradition, right? That's honed into the country. Your country and my country we're basically the same because we sit on the floor, same situation. Men sit certain way, women sit certain way. So I think as far as food evolving and not really being tradition, like again, I'll reinstate that. If you know who you are and where you come from, if you continue to be authentic, you will be honoring your country. That's just my take on tradition, because it's evolving. Food is evolving.
And for Shane, who's going to be more controversial,
possibly, if
we used to sit on the floor, and then something happened, and then we started using cutleries. We started sitting at the table. Do you feel like it's a mirror of the past that has shaped who we are, without saying the word that the West going to the East, basically? Is that an influence of that? Do you see that as something that threatens our tradition?
Yes and no. Context is really important here. History is played out in a lot of different ways that has allowed people from different but maybe similar cultures to influence one another. I'll give you an example. So I talked about the Spanish galleon trade earlier. There would not be tequila or mezcal without Filipino sailors. We brought the process of distillation to Mexico.
Also, thank you. I love tequila. Anyone else?
That right there is an example of what's more important. We got tequila. Go ahead.
Sorry.
And so we were able to do this because my ancestors, my people, these Filipino sailors, have a deep-rooted and intimate connection with the land and everything around us. But in our cultural context, we didn't use agave, we used coconut sap. But because we had a common colonizer, the Spanish, under colonial rule, they didn't allow us to distill the coconut sap because we were competing with their brandy, their liquor, their alcohol. So they didn't want us taking the market away, and so we had to do this in secret. And so with native Mexica people, we started distilling agave instead of tuba or coconut sap. And so migration, authenticity, are we losing ourselves? It's not so much the ingredients, but it's the methods that make our food what it is. And so, and that's especially true in Filipino cuisine. I talked about how our cuisine is very regional. Our national dish is called adobo. But another man, I have a friend out there somewhere.
Y'all have not had adobo.
Yes.
Don't y'all love it? So give it a woo.
It's so good. It's so good. It's so soothing.
Sorry, go ahead.
But as I was saying, it's very regional. And depending on what region your family is from, you may prepare it similarly, but using different ingredients. The North has soy sauce, which was introduced a little bit later on, but traditionally, pre-colonial, it was made with vinegar mostly, and then salt and other things to imbue the sourness, either tamarind, unripe fruit, or calamansi. So some of these things are endemic to the Philippines that you can't find anywhere else. So it matters. Context matters. It's very subjective, and it depends on who's talking.
And I also think that there is this, there's a need to understand further why we use certain ingredients, why we have fish sauce that is fermented, because we have so much fish. We've got to make something with it, right? Why do we have so much vinegar, so much sour element? Because back then we had to preserve food in one way or another. Adobo lasts very long. In my country, certain meats that are cheap, we cook them really long with lots of spices. And in my country, we cook the water out of the meat because we didn't have fridges. And that dish is called a rendang, which you can have tomorrow if you come. But it was a way to preserve a dish that would last almost a month without a fridge, right? So I think it is why we did it, the story behind it, that is truly important. And across the different nations in Southeast Asia, you'll find that similar thread, that we did things to survive.
Necessary.
It was necessary, and I think that's one thing, and that notion of survival and that instinct that is strong within the region in Southeast Asia is something that we share, and it's more important to focus on that. So I think if people ask us, first of all, when people say, hey, what is Southeast Asian food? They ask me that. Do you want to represent Southeast Asian food? I'm like, ooh. It's like saying Asian food.
Yeah.
Y'all are my friends now. We don't say Asian food. We say Chinese food. Even Chinese food, Dr. Ying will say Northern, Southern, Sichuan, Canton. It's all different, right? Same with Southeast Asia. We have different nations, right? So I think what we're trying to get at here is an invitation to always explore further instead of putting something in a box, to understand truly the fundamental value that ties the food of that region. And I think one value that really ties us all is survival, is resilience. Malaysian people are very known to be very warm. We are resilient, kinda. Filipinos, oh my God. Thais, oh my God. So that's why I wanted to share this stage with these two people. You wanted to say something?
Well, you brought up the word resilient. A core part of that often does not get talked about, that is so important and critical, is that my ancestors, my people, the indigenous people of the Philippines, we have a reciprocal relationship with the land and the environment and non-human relatives. And because we have this reciprocal relationship, that it allows us to be resilient.
I love it. This is so deep. This is very deep for the hungry immigrant. The podcast is a little bit lighter sometimes. Sometimes it can be really serious. I've had people cry. But like in the closing tradition, we've come to almost to the end of our time here. We will open it up for Q&A in just a moment. But in the closing tradition of the podcast, every episode ends with this thing I call the Hungry Journal, where every single past guest leaves a question for the next guest without knowing who's the next guest. The question that has been left for both of you is by Yasmin Aziz. Yasmin Aziz is a Filipino-Malaysian singer who represented Southeast Asia in an international singing competition just recently. She asked, oh my God, besides the obvious, what's something you can talk about for hours and why? Besides the obvious, which is food. Or you can say food, but tell us why.
Go ahead. I didn't bring a notebook, so so I have to think about this for a minute. I could talk about my family and my community all day long. I love my family. I love my husband. I love to travel. I could talk about travel all day. That involves food. Yeah, so my community and my family I could talk about all day because that's food is involved in all that too.
Mr. Notebook?
Food as healing is my thing, so I can talk extensively about healing. But the way that looks like for me is investing in relationships that are built on a sense of mutual aid and solidarity and liberation.
Wow. Okay, so now...
So can I start over?
We will open this up to the audience. If you have any questions at all that you would like to ask with regards to what we talked about. Our dating life is not allowed to be talked about. Mm-hmm. Yes, we have a question in the audience. Tell us your name, where you're from. I feel like Oprah. Not yet. Dear sponsors, if you're listening, we are in Michigan, right? Detroit. You come from Detroit, right?
Right.
They make a lot of cars there, right?
Not as much as before.
No more? Allah. Okay, we need to go somewhere where they make a lot of cars.
Hi, my name is Shubhani, and my question, or rather confirmation from all three of you that I'm hearing is that love is the main ingredient in any cooking?
Yes. Yes, it's absolute.
I would say love, time. I think the secret ingredient is truly understanding where the food comes from. When people talk about sustainability today, not wasting food, I think you know what's the problem? In my country, when we wash rice, we eat a lot of rice, by the way. When you wash rice, every single grain goes into the pot. And I was always told that one single grain of rice represents the tears and sweat of a farmer. if we remember that, we ain't going to the buffet and piling food up and then wasting it. Isn't it true? If we remember that that cow gave its life, I might as well use everything, including its brain, including its hooves, including its skin for leather. I think it's very important for us to go back to remembering why we eat. Oh my God, I feel I'm so deep right now. But yes, I think, yeah, that should be the secret ingredient.
If we go online, can we get the schedule for tomorrow?
This is beyond my pay grade, KVCC.
Yes, what? KalamazooFoodways.org for more information.
And that's my sister who also runs her own podcast. Open your app now, $1 Billion Moves. She talks to unicorn founders and funders all around the world. She's a serious one. She talks about money. Or maybe we can get cars from her. Okay, this gentleman has been listening very intently. So I'm very, very worried about his question. Go ahead.
It's exciting. My name is Chris. I am from Malaysia too.
I suspected.
This is important.
Okay.
I'm Baba,
Oh, you're Baba.
which means I don't speak. I'm Chinese and I don't speak Chinese. So my question is, what guilty pleasure ingredients do you put into food that you dare not tell people that is not Asian? So I'll give you an example.
Oh,
So,
I had a good answer until you finished.
okay, so in fried rice, don't flame me, I add mayonnaise.
Demi negara yang tercinta, which means in my language, to my beloved nation. What is a secret ingredient that's not Asian that you're afraid to admit that you use in Asian dishes?
Yes, absolutely tequila. No, maybe ketchup.
From the bottle, right?
Yeah.
We all know that sound. Or sometimes it's like, no, I'm not going to
Yeah,
make that sound.
sometimes we make fried rice. So fried rice, I put ketchup.
Which is actually, the Japanese style has a little bit of ketchup. Okay. How about you?
I've never done this personally, but I've seen some people use...
Lies. So someone used, yeah, go ahead.
I've seen some people use 7-Up.
Oh. My
In-
partner. Filipino, right?
Yeah.
I know.
Yeah.
I know. Go on, continue. 7-Up.
Marinade.
Yeah, and things that they want to sweeten up. And so some of the northern dishes are a little bit more sweeter to appeal to the palates of Western cultures. And so sometimes they'll... but also because Manila is where a lot of U.S. sailors were and naval bases. And so we were introduced to things like pop, corned beef, Spam, all the canned meats that you can think of, Vienna sausages. And so those have also integrated into some of our popular dishes as well.
I will answer it in this way. I use a very weird ingredient, not in Asia. Well, that one. Well, let me share this weird ingredient first in something that I do. Are there any bakers here? Like chef bake? Oh, okay. I use mayonnaise because you had mayonnaise. I use mayonnaise in my cakes. Oh, so it's not weird. That's normal. Okay, let me tell you something that is not normal. For the Malaysian, For the Malaysian and all the Asians. Okay, so this is, oh my God, I'm going to be like not allowed to go back to my country. So it's not a Western ingredient that I use in Asian cooking, but I cross-use ingredients to do certain things that is not allowed. For example, if you cook a certain dish, for example, a curry, and usually a curry is thickened by some of the potatoes that you use in it, or you reduce it, or the coconut milk. Sometimes when I'm in a rush and I already have the flavor, I use cornstarch slurry. For those who do not cook Asian food, that is not allowed. That is not allowed.
Canceled.
That's why I didn't win MasterChef. Any questions?
Yes. Why is community so important to each and every one of you, and how has your community shaped the way that you put your love or authenticity into your cooking every day?
We are always going to go to you because of the notebook, dude.
That's a great question. If I could take a moment to talk about the formation of Filipino identity, one core belief in our pre-colonial spirituality is this idea of kapwa. And it's spelled K-A-P-W-A. And it loosely translates into the shared self. And so our sense of self comes from a collective being, not with just one another, but also with the land and the plant relatives and so on. So community is really important to me. One thing that I really struggle with is the hyper-individualism of Western society. That just crushes me. And so in the work that I do around food as healing, I convene spaces where we use food and stories that are embedded within them as mediums for healing. So just bringing ourselves together around food, you can't do that just by yourself. You have to have others. And so connection, intimacy, relationships, they're all fundamental to the work that I do in Detroit.
Yeah, I would love to see more family cook together, like a lot of my family. And you're absolutely right about individualism. It really separates up there. That's why so many people nowadays are so lonely. Even in a room like this, there's going to be some lonely people that may not feel touched or so community is very important, and you could develop that through food. Cook with your kids, cook with your parents. During COVID time, I bought my parents, they live in Florida, I bought them the little Alexa device, and we would cook together every Sunday, or maybe even 3-4 times a week. And just being connected even from long distance, so food, connect together to foods. I think that's a good tool.
The conclusion? Yeah, go ahead.
If you think about it, hyper-individualism is really a myth. Because none of us got to where we are by ourselves. Someone helped us along the way.
Yeah. So the conclusion of that is, if you feel lonely, find people that look like us. We'll feed you.
He is right.
Just one last question. Hi.
Hi. So when we were raising our family, I was always...
Can I know your name?
I'm Karen.
Hi, Karen.
Yeah. I would go to the grocery store and decide my menu based on what was on sale. And I've still carried that over now, and we're empty nesters. But I still buy what's on sale, but it's to stock the pantry, and then to decide the menu, I look at what's in the pantry. So I wondered if any of you had that habit. how do you do your daily meals for yourselves or your families?
I cook all the time, but because I cook with so many different ingredients, my house looks like a mini grocery store. Because I'm always curious about ingredients. I'm always curious about a country. So I'm always buying spices, especially if I'm not familiar with them. I like to taste it, and maybe I could incorporate in something. So I do look for sales as well. I try to shop, really, to be honest with you, farmers market and meat butchers and people who I'm connected to. So I believe in, please support your farmers market and your local butchers.
Well, one way you can save money is by planting seeds. Look at all these seeds I got from outside. I'm flush with seeds.
It's a lot of seeds.
A lot of seeds. I plan on planting all of these when I get home. Also, I'm not paid by this company, but there's this app that has become really popular. It's called Too Good To Go. Have you heard of this? And it saves food, prepared food, from the waste stream. And it's almost like a CSA for prepared food and fruits and veggies and meats. And so some of the local establishments in your community, you can go on this app and find out who has discounted foods that would otherwise go to the waste stream. And you can rescue it and make delicious meals with it. So if anyone has a relationship with Too Good To Go, I would like a sponsorship if you have that available.
Excuse me, you're on the Hungry Immigrant podcast.
no.
They need to sponsor the podcast first, and then you can be ambassador with me, okay?
Okay, deal.
For me, I think absolutely bargains are a big, huge thing. But also talking about community, talking about learning about different cultures. One strategy I have, and I always mask it by, I want to learn about your food. Because you know why? I'll bring you to the shop with me, we'll go to your kitchen, you'll cook for me, I get to learn about a different culture, a different way of cooking. But also, I don't have to cook. But it is a way of really discovering how a person lives, how a person survives, how a person came to be. It's through their food, right? And it is at the table that, the term, we break bread, right? We break rice. But yeah, it's like when you share a meal, when everyone comes to the table, it's an invitation to, hey, let's slow down. When I say eat with someone means like not with a television on, not with anything else on. You are my television. Because that's the way it should be, right? That will allow us to slow down in this hyper, super fast-moving world where you can't even stay 5 seconds on a video and then you're going up, 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 up. If we just eat more with other people, I think that would solve a lot of problems. Because when you eat a meal, that's when the gossip flows. And that's when the gossip flows, you realize, hey, I'm not that strange. We're all alike, right? And when you truly understand why and how the food came to be, like when we talk about all these trends nowadays, when we talk about intermittent fasting, for example, I'll be like, oh my God, fasting has been in the culture of different cultures around the world, right? I know my Muslim friends, they fast in Ramadan. That's intermittent fasting, right, for 1 month. And there are different cultures who fast to gain awareness and consciousness, right? And even now, like when we talk about fermentation, oh my God, suddenly prebiotics and fermentation is good for you? Wait a minute! We've been doing it for ages. When I say we, I'm not saying just we Asians. Of course, we have kimchi, prebiotics, we have our fish sauce, but then we have sauerkraut, we have sourdough. We have always had it. Who took it away from us?
Pharmacy.
Well, don't say it. I can't. I'll be
Sorry.
canceled.
I'm sorry.
Who took it away from us? Who made us forget to focus on what matters? Who made us stop sitting down and taking time to eat? Why are we rushing through lunch? Why are we eating at a table? Lunch should be an hour. I'm petitioning for that. That is my policy. I'm running for 2020. No. But it's this fundamental basics that we all know. If you just close your eyes and ask yourself, how do we used to eat? If we just go back to that, I think we'll be fine, right? With that, I would like to close, as I always close every single episode of The Hungry Immigrant, by inviting everyone to always keep your plates adventurous and your hearts open. This has been The Hungry Immigrant. All right.